back to the Snap Count. Still got my man Josh in tow. Talking about Coach T. He made his first appearance at the Ireland Fun Gala today. Josh, being drafted by him in 2017, were you as surprised as we were when he decided to step away?
Definitely. I think we all respect Coach T for what he's done to the game and how he's led the Steelers organization for many years. And I was very thankful of my time in Pittsburgh and being drafted there, and for him to be the coach that drafted me. Like, I enjoyed the pre-draft process leading up to it, and enjoyed my time learning learning ball from him in Pittsburgh. So yeah, it definitely was a surprise, and I wish him the best of luck. I think, as we all know, he's a phenomenal coach, football coach, leader of men, and the way that he just consistently pours into the guys and really tries to get the best out of them each Sunday. And having a winning record, never a losing season in the NFL is definitely something that we all know is harder than what even people think it is. And I got a lot of respect for him and wish him the best of luck in whatever the next stage of his journey looks like.
And you were drafted here. Obviously, Ben Roethlisberger was the starting quarterback. But again, when you're the backup, you don't know when your time and your number is going to be called upon. And I had to live that in 9 years that I was here in Pittsburgh as well. Talk a little bit about how challenging it is, not knowing when you're going to play, but yet going in and deliver. Specifically, one game that I remember offhand was that Baltimore game that you had to kind of step in, go out there and deliver and complete some critical passes throughout the course of the game. Explain what that process looked like to somebody who may not be familiar with what this role looks like.
Yeah, I think I always use the analogy of, like, we were all in school, and we all had math exams probably every Friday, like the little multiplication exams that you got, and you're studying all week for them, stressing to make a good grade to take home to your parents. And a lot of times being the backup quarterback is doing all the work to get ready for the test on Friday and just never taking the test. And you go through week after week after week not taking the test, but still putting in the same effort, energy, attention to detail into that preparation. And then you wake up one random day in November and you've been preparing for the same test every Friday for the last 20 weeks of the year. And now you have to take the test. And not only do you have to take the test, you're expected to ace it and answer every single question thrown at you. And so I think that's like the nature of the beast. Honestly, for me coming into the league, like in college, I started as a freshman, so I never really had to go through it. In high school, I played every year, so I never understood like what that looked like, but I was kind of doing a lot of learning on the job. I think the culture in Pittsburgh helped that because, as Charlie knows, like, some days you show up to practice and you're taking all the reps. Some days you show up to practice, you're not taking any reps. But to sound cliche, like, the standard of still excelling at those reps is still just as high as it was as if Ben was out there or whoever the starter was out there. So I learned quickly that, it didn't, like, lack of opportunity was never an excuse for not being prepared for a situation. And I think, like, just having that mindset for learning at my rookie year and then being able to put it on display my second year, really every stop of my way in the NFL, is definitely has paid off in the end. It can be exhausting at times, but I think just staying locked in and ready for any opportunity is the best way to make the most of any opportunity you get in the NFL, and you have to be ready.
I want you to expound upon that a little bit more. I know a lot of folks say that the backup quarterback job is the luckiest job in the world, and it's the notion that you're getting paid a king's ransom, but the very nature of it is that that they're seeing you is not a good thing for the team. Like, it's not good for the team to see the backup quarterback in and to deal with the mental strife of knowing as a competitor, because every backup quarterback in the league was a star at one point or another. They were the man for their high school team. They were likely the man for their college team. But when you get to the league, everybody's the man, and some people are more the man than others. And so talk about having to deal with the fact that, and I think so more so at the quarterback position, there's a hard line between the starter and the backup. Sometimes at another position, you can earn your way in. There's a legit chance you can take away a spot from another starter ahead of you. Once a starter at quarterback has been established, it's rare that somebody can earn their way throughout the season, I would think, as a backup quarterback. So talk about that as a competitor, the mental strife that you have to go in through a week in, week out, season in, season out basis. And at what point did you come to the realization that backup quarterback is going to be my job?
Well, I mean, I don't think I've ever come to that realization even
Okay.
now, you know? I think, because I think the second you come to that realization is, the second that, your days in the league are counting down. And I think,
Mhm.
I think like there are people that do think that, being the two is the dream job. And I think if you have that complacent mindset, then there's going to be someone right behind you that's pushing you out. And not to say that, um, that they're wrong and I'm right. But I just think like my mindset has always been that I think I can play just as good as the other 32 that do have the role of being the starter any week. And I've shown it in the toughest situations. And so if you have the situation where you come in and you have all off season and all camp with the same reps and opportunity, that I believe I can excel in that same position. And so um I think just having that mindset and always like understanding still the nature of the business of football and knowing that there are only 32 starting quarterbacks in the world. And that
Mhm.
doesn't mean, and just because there's only that many spots doesn't mean there's only 32 people capable of those roles. And so I think understanding that has always pushed me every day to be prepared for the opportunities to excel, to learn, to grow, but always um, be prepared to go out and make the most of my situation and my opportunity. And understanding how competitive it is, I think plays into I don't know, just like what I do in the off season or in season to be prepared, right? Like it is, week in and week out, understanding the playbook, understanding how we're attacking the defense, understanding the game plan, and then not only understanding it, but then creatively each week finding ways to simulate reps that you're not going to get in practice. So it's, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, going through the reps behind the starter as if I'm taking the rep
Mhm.
in practice and then going back through the entire call sheet after practice with some of the other receivers, the practice squad guys, the fourth, fifth, sixth receiver on the roster so that you're still getting all the throws and all the footwork and all the progressions and still trying to simulate everything you would have gotten if you got every rep as if you're the one in the practice situation, and then it's the same preparation in the film room. And so I think like you have to you definitely have to be mentally strong enough to sustain just that position. And being the two in the NFL isn't anything handed to anyone, right? Like as Charlie knows, like sometimes those are the most fierce position battles going into OTAs and into camp because it's usually a young guy that's just come into the league hungry for his opportunity to potentially be up next, and it's a guy that's been in that role but is always vying to be the guy out there week in and week out fighting for his opportunity. And him being in the two spot to start the season could give him an opportunity to go out and play when the season comes around. And so I know I've always treated the position, the opportunity with that much respect and diligence and effort in preparing for it. And I think that's allowed me to be where I'm at thus far, and ideally will propel me throughout the rest of my career as well.
And that's exactly what the quarterback position. You have to have that mindset. You don't want to get complacent. Oh, yes, I'm just a backup. Your goal is to want to be a starter. You have to continue to prepare that way, and you're doing so in the stops that you went through, and that's why you're still continuing to be you're still in the league in the manner that you are today. But in some cases, when you're studying, some people always talk about, hey, don't be the smartest in the room. But in your case, there are times that you are the smartest in the room.